we've had a lot that's happened so far. We've had a lot of people get signed to contracts they don't necessarily deserve, and some that they definitely did. So without further ado, I'm going to give you my top 10 best free agent signings so far this offseason. Then we'll get into my worst a little bit later. But let's start with number 10, and I might be in a little bit of a the minority here with this one. But in my number 10 spot, I have Dante Exum from the Jazz. I love this deal. 3 years, $33 million. Now, I understand that the start of Dante Exum's career has not been that great. It simply hasn't. He has not been as good of a player as they thought when they drafted him in the top 5. But he really started to come around in the second half of this last season and also started looking pretty good in the playoffs. He's still very young. He's 22 years old. He still has a lot of potential. And I think you're only giving him $11 million a year. You're keeping the whole team together. This is fine. I think he's going to be a really, really, good young player for them. He's a smart guy. He can get the job done. I still think his playmaking ability has some work to do, but he can get the job done. And this Jazz team is very, very good. I wonder how many minutes he's going to legitimately get this year, but $11 million a year, I'm sure that he's going to get a little bit of a bump up in terms of minutes. But overall, Dante Exum, 3 years, $33 million. It's a low-risk deal with a high reward. Number 10 on my list of the top 10 best free agents so far. All right, let's get to number 9 on my list of the best free agent signings so far. We got Dougie McBuckets, baby. Doug McDermott at number 9 overall for me. He has had a very interesting NBA career so far. The dude has jumped around all over the place. Oh, excuse me. I changed it from Doug McDermott. I actually moved him up on my list. We have Paul George at number 9 here. I changed him this morning. My apologies. 4 years, $137 million with the Thunder. Look, we got to be honest about this Paul George deal. If Paul George doesn't come back to the Thunder, I wonder if Sam Presti loses his job. Because this would have been the 5th NBA star that he would have ended up losing from his team. He has lost so many guys over the past couple of years. Obviously, he traded away James Harden. He lost Kevin Durant. He lost Serge Ibaka as well. And he lose Paul George here. So 4 stars that he would lose in his tenure as the GM of the Thunder. I don't know if you can really stay with that. I mean, if the only star that you've been able to keep on your team is Russell Westbrook and everyone else has left, that's a pretty bad look on the GM. So getting back Paul George is huge, not only obviously for Paul George and the rest of the Oklahoma City Thunder, but getting him back is huge for Sam Presti's job and Sam Presti's future as the GM of this Thunder team. So we got Paul George sitting there at number 9. All right, let's get to number 8 on my list of the top 10 best free agent signings. At number 8, we got Mario Hezonja, the guy from the New York Knicks who just got picked up from the Orlando Magic. I talked about him a little bit earlier. He is just going to be a great player for them. I love the fit with him and Dave Fizdale. The Knicks GM Scott Perry drafted Mario originally in Orlando. I think he's going to fit in great with the culture they have going on there. A very international basketball team along with him and Frankie Smokes and Kristaps. It's great. I'm very excited to see what Mario Hezonja is going to do in the with the New York Knicks. I think he had a pretty rough go of things overall, just with the Orlando Magic. He never really got his NBA career going, but overall, this Knicks team is going to be quite good next year with Mario Hezonja. Again, I wonder how many minutes he's going to get. He doesn't even make our starting bench right now, to be totally honest. I think he'll end up making it once they get rid of Jarrett Jack coming out of camp, but Mario Hezonja is going to be a really, really nice piece for the Knicks to build around. If they want to sign him to a longer-term deal after this year, that's totally fine. But as of right now, a 1-year, $6.5 million, low risk, high reward on this for the New York Knicks. He's just a good player. I think that we've seen a couple of flashes from him over the past couple of years, almost 10 points per game last year. His per 36 numbers are quite good. So I think we'll see him really take a step forward under Dave Fizdale. Coaching matters in the NBA, people, especially when it comes to developing NBA talent. And let's be honest with ourselves. Magic haven't exactly had good player development over the past couple of years. So we have Mario Hezonja coming in at number 8. Let's go to number 7 on my list. Julius Randle from the New Orleans Pelicans. I cannot believe that they ended up getting a guy like him with that deal. We have him getting on our bench because I think the big man rotation overall for this team is going to end up being fantastic. Anthony Davis, Nikola Mirotic, plus Julius Randle. I love that rotation down low. I think you can do a lot of different things with it. It's very versatile, and it'll make for some interesting lineup combinations down the road. He can maybe pick up a couple more defensive minutes ahead of Nikola Mirotic, but we saw last year that Mirotic should definitely be starting on this Pelican team. But look, 2 years, $18 million for a guy who last year averaged 20 points per game after the trade deadline. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm stunned that the Lakers didn't end up making him or bringing him back. I mean, for 2 years, $18 million, if you're the Lakers, that's a great deal to bring him back on. I'm surprised that they just let him walk. I know that his role was going to change this year, but I mean, for 2 years, $18 million, I feel like that's a move that you could certainly make if you're the Lakers. So we're going to see Julius Randle most likely end up on the bench for the Pelicans. That's why he's only coming in at number 7 for me, but 2 years, 18 for a guy of his talent is a very, very good deal for the Pelicans. All right, let's go to number 6 here on my list. I talked this guy up a lot overall through the past couple of years, just in general. I love his game, and that's Tyreke Evans at number 6 overall. 1 year, $12 million deal with the Indiana Pacers gives them exactly what the Pacers need off the bench. They need someone who can score from the wing that isn't named Victor Oladipo or one of their Bogdanoviches, or the Bogdanovich that they have. They needed someone else on the outside who can come in and get some buckets. They also need some guys that can just play a little bit defense as well on the wing. I think Tyreke Evans will be a nice player. He's going to be good for them. He's going to end up being probably their 6th man off the bench, being their primary scoring option overall on the second unit. But you could have a really fun lineup next year featuring, Collison, Oladipo, plus Tyreke Evans. Maybe move Bogdanovich to the 4 along with Miles Turner there at the 5. So I think we could have a fun overall lineup with this Pacers team. They have a lot of potential. This Pacers team, I think, is going to be the 3rd best team in the East this year. I really do. I think it's going to be a very, very good team. So watch out for the Indiana Pacers as we go into next season. They can end up being one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. All right, let's go to number 5 on my list of the best free agent signings. We got Trevor Ariza, who got stolen from the Houston Rockets by the Phoenix Suns. 1 year, $15 million. That is a huge blow to the Rockets, who have no one on their team who can replace Trevor Ariza. Not even close. I mean, they had signed James Ennis yesterday to get someone remotely close to Trevor Ariza. It is upsetting that the Rockets weren't able to bring him back, though. If I'm Ariza, I'm pretty pissed that they've been talking all offseason, or I guess most of the season before this, about bringing in LeBron James to replace him. So I probably would have left too, just from a point of pride, but the Suns get a great veteran coming in. Maybe they start 3 wings on the outside with Booker, Ariza, Mikal Bridges, Josh Jackson, DeAndre Ayton. That's a really fun lineup, very modern day. Maybe Devin Booker ends up playing that James Harden kind of role. So we'll see what happens overall with this Suns team. But 3 wings with Ariza, training up Mikal Bridges and Josh Jackson. I love this signing. This is a coup by the Suns. Great get by Ryan McDonough, getting a big-time veteran like Trevor Ariza to help out some of the young guys. But you can help us out getting to 100,000 subscribers. We are currently sitting at around the 55,000K mark. Get us up to 100,000. Come on, people. We'll get there. We'll post some videos of us popping champagne when we get to 100,000. Hit that red subscribe button so you can get all the great content that we have here on Chat Sports. Also, use that super chat so you can have your comments shown live here on air. We have one that just came in that we are going to bring up live here on air. This is how we treat people who send in our super chats. Brett Robbins, let's talk about anything Joe Ingles. Well, Joe Ingles is arguably the most underrated NBA player that we have in the league right now. The dude has been an absolute stud for the Jazz over the past couple of seasons, and last year he had the best season of his career. There's a reason why the Jazz paid Joe Ingles all that money. He has turned into a very, very fun player and a great fit next to Quinn Snyder. You're talking to the leader of the Jazz bandwagon. Choo choo, the hype train has left the station already. They are my number 4 seed in the West next year, behind the Lakers and the Rockets and the Warriors. So I'm all aboard the Jazz train, and Joe Ingles is obviously a very big part of that. Get those super chats in. We'll bring up your comments live on screen. All right, let's move on here to my number 4 free agency signing. We got DeMarcus Cousins. Now, I'm not going to go on my rant. I'm not going to do it. Not DeMarcus Cousins, DeAndre Jordan. See, I had DeMarcus and DeAndre. I got them switched up all the time. I've actually said that DeMarcus Cousins joined the Mavericks a couple times on this network. But we have DeAndre Jordan at number 4. 1 year, $23 million deal with the Mavericks. A good contract. Now, the $24.1 million player option, you're probably asking yourself, why did he decline that and take less money with the Mavericks? Well, he actually didn't take less money. It's actually the same amount of money if you look at it from taxes. Because, ladies and gentlemen, down here in the beautiful state of Texas, there are no state income taxes. So that DeAndre Jordan contract will end up being just the same for him. But it's a great deal for the Mavericks and a great deal for DeAndre Jordan. It's going to allow him to be on a prospective playoff team with a lot of young players that can really accent his skills. This is a pick and roll based team. Rick Carlisle has loved the pick and roll. They've just never had a center with the dynamicism on both offense and defense, or the dynamic option that DeAndre Jordan brings them. He is one of the best pick and roll centers in all of basketball. And the Mavs have been dealing with centers like Brandon Wright and Nerlens Noel over the past couple of years. Now they get maybe one of the 5 best pick and roll centers in all of basketball to pair with Dennis Smith Jr. and Luka Doncic. I love it. I love this signing for both sides. I think Jordan is going to be an absolute stud muffin for the Dallas Mavericks next season before maybe he gets paid. I don't know. How much money is DeAndre Jordan really worth next offseason? I think a lot of it matters how he does this year with the Mavs. All right, let's go to number 3 on my list of the best free agent signings. We got Kevin Durant. Now, I feel like we kind of have to mention Kevin Durant. I understand that this was a shoo-in. We knew that Kevin Durant was going to go back to the Warriors. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, when you sign Kevin Durant, no matter if it's a re-signing or whatever, you are going to end up on the list for the best free agent signings because you brought back Kevin Durant, the second best player in all of basketball, for my money. And I want to know from you guys, who is better? Give me a 1 for LeBron James and give me a 2 for Kevin Durant. Now, I know that our channel is very heavily leaning towards towards LeBron James. This is a LeBron James friendly channel. But Kevin Durant at number 2, I mean, back-to-back finals MVPs, beating LeBron twice, one of the best shots in the past 5 years in the NBA finals 2 years ago over LeBron. Obviously, he's not. I don't think he's better than LeBron. I'm going to take LeBron James any day of the week. We got a couple of 2s in there in the comments section. I still think it's a 1. I'm throwing up 1, but seeing a couple of 2s in there, it's interesting. We have someone saying that LeBron James doesn't play defense. That's fair, but I still think it's LeBron over Kevin Durant. All right, let's get to our next player on my top 10 best free agent signings this offseason. At number 2, mentioned him earlier by accident, mentioning him now on purpose. DeMarcus Cousins, the center for the Warriors, getting that mid-level exception of $5.3 million with the Golden State Warriors. Let's talk about the positives of this, because I feel like I only talk about the negatives overall when it comes to DeMarcus Cousins with the Warriors. The positives are that if DeMarcus Cousins ends up coming back fully healthy from this Achilles injury, the Warriors just added arguably the best, if not second best center in all of basketball onto a team that was already maybe the best starting lineup of all time. So you add DeMarcus Cousins to that lineup, and it's just unstoppable. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Draymond Green, and DeMarcus Cousins. That's just not fair. Now, I will say this. We don't know if DeMarcus Cousins is going to come back fully healthy. That Achilles injury is a huge question mark, and not a lot of people have come back fully healthy. However, I just wonder what percentage of DeMarcus Cousins we're going to see. Is it going to be 80%? Is it going to be 90%? Is it going to be 100%? We're not sure. Achilles injuries are a complete toss-up. They can go either way. I'm very interested in how DeMarcus Cousins comes back from this injury. We'll have a little bit more on him later, just a little bit of a hint. All right, let's get to our number 1 free agent signing. If you have an ability to use just any sort of deductive reasoning, you'll understand who our number 1 player is. It's obviously LeBron James signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. 4 years, $154 million for the King, heading to Los Angeles as he rebuilds his throne and puts a ton of purple and gold on it. It's going to be a really fun adventure having LeBron in Los Angeles. I'm excited. We're already having LeBron walking out of restaurants with Leonardo DiCaprio and Al Pacino. Like, how much better can you really get in terms of an athlete having dinner with people? That's great. I'm very excited. I think the entertainment business is going to love having LeBron James in and around it all the time. I'm pumped for this Lakers team. I know I'm kind of in the minority. I'm a Celtics fan, so maybe, I'm talking crap out of my mouth. Maybe I should be lit on fire for complimenting the Lakers. But look, it's great for LeBron being with the Lakers. It's great for the NBA. It's great for the attention. It's great for the sport. It's great for the Lakers. And it's great for us here because it gives us a lot to talk about because LeBron with the Lakers is just awesome. But overall, I don't really think you can rank any other signing number 1. Can you? Like, who else is the number 1 player? Like, who else could be a better signing than LeBron James going to the Lakers? Or hell, LeBron James going to any team at all would be the best number one or the best signing in my book at least. So let me know in the comments section which signing you guys would rank number one overall. So we just went through my top 10 best free agent signings from this offseason. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into our top 10 worst free agent signings overall of the offseason. But first, we'll have a quick message.